This is Joshy Box. This is my Freddy Spaghetti PS4 review.
2 words.
It's like an Office parody. Freddy Spaghetti 2. It's the same old Freddy Spaghetti from the previous game. Basically, you're just moving a piece of spaghetti around. He can walk, he can jump. The movement controls feel amazing, and there's some really cool parts. Some of the game is very repetitive. That was true of the first game as well. I think it's like less challenging, I'd say, than the first game on the whole, and that's a little disappointing. There's also less levels, less bonus content. On every level, I'd say this feels like kind of a lazy sequel. Does that mean that I didn't like the game? No, not really. I did like the game. I liked it a lot. I like the idea that it's an Office parody, and Spaghetti, you got Freddy the Spaghetti working in the office, and you got his coworkers like gossiping about him, and
be surprised?
sort of like doing the documentary thing.
The fact that he's a piece of
And yeah, so it's pretty on the whole for what it is. So you know, it's basic, and I mean the first game was already a little bit basic, and I to the first game giving it a 10 out of 10. This one has less bonus content, less extra levels, less levels, no diversity of like worlds or anything like that. It doesn't have like that epic feel that the first game had. You know, sort of transforming and doing all kinds of cool, crazy stuff. And, you know, it's a great idea, this game, but I think the execution was a little mediocre. So, out of sentimentality, and because on some level I really did like it, and I just plowed straight through it, and I really enjoyed it, I'm going to give this game a very generous 8 out of 10. I feel a little bit guilty saying that. I don't think you'll necessarily think it's an 8 out of 10 game yourself. If you didn't love the first game, maybe don't bother. I hate to say that, but it's not one of those sequels that surpasses the first. There's not more levels. There's less to do. You know, personally I love it, but it's sort of like a story game, and the story is very sparse. I think that could be said of the first game as well, but it just had so much crazy, diverse content that I really enjoyed it, and this game doesn't have that really. It doesn't have that same feel. So yeah, Freddy Spaghetti, 8 out of 10. I could have went with a 7. I was thinking about 7, 7.5, maybe even go as low as 6. But I decided to give it an 8. That's even if it's, for me, it's like, even if it's sort of like Freddy Spaghetti is like a thing where it's like pizza or sex. Even when it's bad, it's good. And so this is Freddy Spaghetti, kind of as bad as it gets. You feel a little bit like it's like a lazy game. You feel a little bit cheated, but it does still have some new stuff and some kind of like fun additions, and there's some creative ideas here. So you know, I don't hate it. I'm glad it exists. It's more Freddy Spaghetti, which is a good thing. But yeah, I'm giving it 8 out of 10, and that's me being somewhat disappointed in it. You know, I wanted to give this game a 10. But I'm giving it an 8. You know, I enjoyed the hell out of it. It's not very expensive. You get it like $2.50, and you know, I don't regret spending that money on it. And it was partially playing this game that made me want to go back and play the first game, because I was enjoying this game so much. But then when once I got into the first game, it sort of blew this out of the water. And you know, it's kind of disappointing to see a sequel that does that. Sequel that doesn't live up to the first, doesn't live up to the original. So anyway, yeah, Freddy Spaghetti. It's not as good as the first game, but it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. It's weird, and that's a good thing. So yeah, I would say personally, I think it's worth checking out, especially if you like the first one, which is the better of the two. And yeah, that's it. Freddy Spaghetti, 8 out of 10, and you know, I feel a little bit guilty. I feel like I'm giving it too high a score, but I love Freddy. I love Freddy the Spaghetti. I can't give it less than an 8. I just can't do it. I'm a fanboy for this series, and I hope to see more of it. So anyway, that's all, folks. We'll see y'all next time. Please like and subscribe.